two inyanim in Tisha B'Av. One is the Avelis, the loss of the Beis HaMikdash, and the other is Tzipisa Lishua. We know the Beis HaMikdash will be rebuilt. We're confident. So we have to have that feeling as well. The Munkacher Rebbe from Europe used to make a very special Seudah, like yesterday, when Tisha B'Av came out on Shabbos. It's brought down in halacha that you're allowed to make shalashudas kesuda shloime b'shaita. A big meal. Just yesterday I heard about this certain Litvisher Rosh Yeshiva in America who does the same thing. Because it says in halacha, you're allowed to do it, so he feels that means you should do it. But anyway, the reason the Munkacher Rebbe said, he said, there's two feelings you're supposed to have. The Avelis one, and the hope for the future. Now, in a regular Tisha B'Av, you have to keep the positive side quiet, like internal, because outside is supposed to be Avelis. But on Shabbos, there's no Avelis. So then that part, which is the hope and the feeling of knowing it's going to happen, that becomes more revealed, and that's why he would make such a Suda. Now, we know that one of the reasons for the Avelis of Tisha B'Av is tshuva, to realize that it says called Shalom Nivna Beis HaMikdash B'Yamav Kilu Nechar B'Yamav. We could not bring about the building of the Beis HaMikdash. It's considered like we caused it. It's the same Averis, and until we make a tikkun, fix things up, it's still our fault that there's no Beis HaMikdash. And we know the Bayis Rishon, 3 serious Averos, Avodah Zarah, Gila Raish, Vichas Damim. Bayis Sheni, Sinas China. And Chavetz Chaim talks a lot about how we have to really fix up the Sinas China. Now, the reason we don't talk so much about the other 3 Averos, you could say for 2 reasons. One is that, well, we are the result of the second destruction, meaning we're in the Golus after the second destruction, so we relate more to that. Another reason is that, generally speaking, these 3 Averos, Baruch Hashem, we don't do. See, we don't necessarily understand time the Bayis Rishon was probably people who were Shomer Mitzvahs. They weren't like people who just gave up the whole thing. People who were Shomer Mitzvahs, but for some reason the Yetzer Hara, Avodah Zarah, Gila Raish, Vichas Damim, we know the story about Menashe, that when he came to Rav Ashi in a dream, and he told him that, you know, if you would have been in his times, he told Rav Ashi, you would have run faster to the Avodah Zarah. There was a very big taiva, big Yetzer Hara for it. So that doesn't, Baruch Hashem, does not apply to us. And therefore, we should concentrate mostly on the inyan of Sinas China. Now, why is this Sinas China? And somehow it's very difficult to correct it. It says in the Zohar that if there'll be one group of people that will be totally ba'achdus, unified, that will bring about the Mashiach. Not everybody, one group of people. And the Satmar Rebbe used to say to his Kehila, let us be that group. So the question is, of course, all these years, there was never one group that was totally ba'achdus. How could it be? So, could be one of the reasons is that it's hard to reach that level, even if you get along with people, but to reach the level where it's such achdus, everyone's so interested in the other person, never even a bad thought about the other person, that's a very difficult thing to reach. So, this Shabbos I read a story. It's brought Rabbi Elimelech Biderman Shlita, one of the big Magidim of our time. He brings it down. It's from 300 years ago. It says in the city of Vienna, the Rav, his name is Rav Shimshon Wertheimer. So the king of Vienna came to, I don't know who came to who, whatever it is, the king asked Rav Shimshon, why do the Yidden have to suffer so much? All these persecutions, all these years, what did they do that's so terrible? And Hashem, they're called the Banim of Hashem. Why should it be? So he answered, as we know the answer is, sin is china. Jewish people somehow can't have the full achdus. Of course, most people are really good, right? And they act nicely to other people, but a certain amount of them, and we know that we're responsible, so that's the reason. Anyway, he was not happy with the answer, the king. And he said, no, I do not accept that answer. It can't be for such a thing. So many years and so much suffering just can't be. I want a better answer. I'm giving you 3 days to give me a better answer. And if you don't give me an answer that I'm satisfied with, Rahman al-Istan is going to make gzeiros on the Yidden. So he doesn't know what to do. The Rav, it's pretty serious. So he decides to do a certain thing. I don't know, I assume there are tzaddikim who know how to do this. It's called, to get a vision in a dream. Chalom. Sheilas Chalom, it's called. So a person has to prepare himself for it. Went to the mikvah, did other certain preparations. Then he went to sleep. And sure enough, during his sleep, he appears before the Beis Din Shalmaila. And he tells them the story. And, and you know what they say to him? That is the answer, right? You know what? All this suffering is because of the sin of Schina. So he says, yeah, but what am I going to do? The Rav doesn't want to accept that. The king doesn't want to accept that answer. So, what am I going to do? So they told him in the Beis Din Shalmaila, it's okay, don't worry about it. It's going to be all right. Okay. Now at that time, the king went out hunting animals in the forest. And of course, he took a large group of people with him, which he usually did. But he decided he wanted to try a little on his own. So he said they should wait for him, and he's going to do some hunting, and then he'll come back. So time is passing, the day's going on, even gets dark. So they said, look, it must be the king found, he caught something, and then he just went home on his own, which is not so logical, but whatever it is, that's what they thought, and they went home. Meanwhile, the king was lost in the forest. You know what to do, it's getting dark, trouble. So he sees in the distance houses, lit up houses. Okay, fine. So he goes there, and he looks for a house with a mezuzah. Of course, he knows the Jewish people are Rahmani, Chasarim, they're very kind and good people, and he's sure they're going to take good care of him. Now, he did not reveal his identity, but he went into a Jewish house. The man took him in, really took very good care of him, gave him to eat, and really proper achnasis orchim, as we know that our people do. So then he left, and he still didn't tell him who he was. When he got back to the palace, he asked for them to call him in, call this Yid to come to see the king. Well, he said to him, the king said, do you recognize me? No, I never saw the king before. He says, I'm that person that came to you in the night, and because you treated me so well, I'm going to reward you as much as you want. I'll give you millions. He offered him everything. So you know what the Yid answered? He said, he's a businessman, and recently someone else opened up a business in his area, competition, and it's hurting his business. So he's asking the king not to do anything to that person, just to say to that person that he's not allowed to operate his business in my area. That's all he asked for. So the king said, oy, oy, oy. He says, now I understand the answer of Shimshon, that, here's a chance. This person could be so rich, he'll never have to work. But he's only worried about that other person that's a competitor and he wants to take care of him. So he understood that was the answer. And it's a very difficult thing. We can't, to judge people when people are in difficult situations and feel other people are hurting them. But still, that's something we have to try to overcome. It says it's called Maseches Chibur HaKever, in the Sefer Reishis Chachma, it says that certain questions are asked of a person when he leaves this world. Now, we're familiar with the very famous questions in Gemara and Shabbos. Did you deal honestly in business? Did you set aside times for learning, to be Yeshua, waiting for the Mashiach? But these are another two questions are brought over there, that they ask a person, did you make Hashem a king over you in the morning and the evening? And did you make your friend a king? A king over you with favor. Yeah, that's what it says there. Now, I always used to teach this as Fnimishur Sadin. It's not an obligation; it's for big tzaddikim. But Rabbi, he brings it in a sefer, and it sounds like if they ask it, it's a question. So then you have to do it. So that's saying we have to try to reach the highest possible levels of doing for others and not worrying about ourselves, even though it's an idea of Kodman, certain times you come first before the other person, but it's a total concern for others. Now, last week, a lady asked me a question. She said that someone told her, she used to work in a certain place, and a worker there told her about one of the workers that's still there, some pretty bad things, Lashon Hara, without a name, which is fine. You're allowed to do that. So the lady asked me, she wants to know who it is. You know why? Because if she doesn't know who it is, she's going to look down on all of those people, because maybe it's that one. So the answer is exactly the opposite. If she doesn't know who it is, she has to look positively of everyone. We have to, live favorably in every Jew. You have to judge people favorably. Look everyone in the best possible way. And then, and even somebody who may have done something against us, we still judge them favorably. Doesn't mean we shouldn't protect ourselves. But we try to judge favorably, and that will bring a tremendous amount of achdus. Years ago, a Talmud here in the yeshiva asked me the following question. He said, in the yeshiva there are Bachrim, so there's certain Bachrim that he's really good friends with, and other Bachrim, doesn't hate them, but he's not so happy in their company. Is he have an obligation to try to be friendly even with those people? So I said to him, you're not obligated. No, you don't have to be friends with everybody. But there's two reasons why you should. One is, it's good for your midos. Yeah, sure, it's easy to get along with people that you like, and they like you, and they treat you nicely. Somebody who didn't treat you so nicely, it would be very good midos if you get along with him. And the other reason is that every two Yidden who get along with each other, that is an achdus in Klal Yisrael. Sure, we want to have achdus of the whole Klal Yisrael, as we mentioned before, about one group of people, but even two people that get along with each other, that's an achdus. And that helps us bring us closer to the Gula. And when I give this shmooze every year at the end of Tisha B'Av, so I usually speak about preparing for Bein Hazmanim. Of course, even this area, Bein Hazmanim, we'll have a little extra time. We can do things for people, chesed for people, that's for sure. And then also we want to strengthen the learning during Bein Hazmanim. Used to, Reb Chaim Shmulevitz, I used to call Bein Hazmanim Bein HaChayim. It's in between. There's also a very great Rabbi, his name is Rabbi Malin. He was the Rosh Yeshiva of Beis Talmud in America. And he used to tell the boys, in Bein HaZmanim, you could take a Bein HaStorim, meaning you could take off a little in the middle of the day. Okay, it's not necessarily for our Madrega, but in any case, everyone should try as much as possible. And I'll also connect that with the subject I spoke about the Sinas Chinam, that, as I heard from Rav Shneur Kotler, the name of his father, Rav Aaron Kotler, that it says in the morning we say, and so it's big cholim, chasodim, things that are mainly bain, and what does it say at the end? The Talmud Torah keneged kulam. Why is Talmud Torah considered the greatest in the Bein HaChavero? Because you're helping the whole world. When you learn, you're giving kiyum to the world. We know the world stands on 3 pillars, and Talmud Torah is the world Chashon would collapse if nobody was learning. So that's the Bein HaChavero, by learning Torah. So Hashem Shabbat, all of us, we should be zoiche to help bring the Gula closer. Should be binyan beis hamikdash from here.